Okay, everybody, so I just did a homeschool update, so now I'm going to do a work update. So, as far as my work is concerned, like I have been really happy with the way things have been over the last year to year and a half. So, I have been a self-employed licensed massage therapist for a very long time. So, I've been doing massage therapy since I was 17 years old, and I've been licensed since I was 18, I believe, 18 or 19. So I started, went to school really early and all that kind of thing. And I love what I do. I have a lot of talent at it that I've developed over the years. I love the flexibility and all that kind of thing. However, over the years, I've just kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's taken a bit of a backseat, but I am still practicing. I do still have my business. Yeah, so I've been self employed for about 10 years, fully, completely self employed for about 10 years. So just like freelancing. And I do love it. Like it's great, but it's still my passion. But I've really just been trying to stay home as much as I can. Like, well, I work from home too. Like I can do massages from home. Um, but I've been trying to just kind of like be with my kids as much as possible and be present. Like, kind of like, I guess you could call it like a stay-at-home parent, but because I do homeschool, but I also, I mean, I do a lot of stuff, all the housework, the cooking, the cleaning, the um, all the things you think of. And I do get a lot of help from my partner, which is extremely helpful. But with him, I do like he helps out with a lot of like running errands. He helps out by helping take the kids to the doctor a lot of times when they're sick, and just things like that that help me out so that I can get a lot of stuff done at home and also get work done and things like that. So, and homeschooling, of course, but yeah, so I have been working my pharmacy business, which I've been doing since August of last year. So I can't believe it's already been that long. It's already been like 9.5 months or something like that. So I'm really happy with that. That's been going really well. Before that, I was with BioRains, and I really loved being with BioRains, but unfortunately, they did get rid of the affiliate program. And so with that, I kind of took a break, and then I decided I would like to try pharmacy. So, but I do also really love their products, and I really enjoy so much working with the brand. So that's going really well. So I'm doing that, and I'm not spending quite as much time on that as I would like to at the moment. But that's okay because I've got so many other things going on. And I do still practice. I still do, a couple of massages here and there. I don't do a whole lot, but I do still work in that respect a little bit to an extent. And then I also do like surveys online, like gig work. I still have my OnlyFans, which that's really helpful. And so I just kind of do like a little bit of everything. But ultimately, my main goal is just to try to be home as much as possible, be with the kids as much as possible without having to, get a babysitter, find someone to watch them. It's just very difficult. We don't have a whole lot of like family support, um, really at all. And so I can't just like, call somebody and be like, hey, can you help me? Like, I have to literally like hire someone and vet someone and all that kind of thing. Fortunately, we do have a great community here where we live, and that's one big reason why we're still in an apartment, because I honestly don't want to leave because our neighbors are like family, and I just don't want to leave, and that's really all there is to it. But thankfully we do have neighbors for like emergencies and stuff, but I really just, it stresses me out at this point in my life. There's a train coming out the window, so if you hear it, that's what that is. Yeah, so anyways, but it goes without saying that like I think anyone in my position would definitely want to try to, minimize the stress as much as possible, obviously. So with that being said, I have been very thankful to be spending more time at home with them. And I was before anyway, because even when I was working a lot with my massage business, I still was not working more than, like 4 or 5 hours a day. So it's not like I was gone all the time by any means or anything like that. But in my younger days, I worked a lot more. Like I was very full time in my younger days. Before I had kids, I mean, I literally worked like 7 days a week. So but yeah, I like it the way that it is now. I also have been focusing probably the majority of my time on my content creation and content creating. So I have been a content creator since 2019. I think it was like November of 2019 that I started randomly decided I was going to start doing content. And I initially started that for my massage business to try to like get more clients and reach more people and just connect with other people in general that are like-minded. And so, as more time passed, COVID happened very shortly after that. And so then I like really dived into it a lot more. And ever since then, I've just kind of been, just working on that. So I don't have a whole ton of followers. Like, I'm not, a huge influencer. I'm very much a micro influencer, or, micro creator, whatever you want to call it. But I love that. And because of the fact that I enjoy it and I feel like my messages do reach people and help people, I get a lot of emails from people, thanking me for various things, whether it's something they learned on my channel from, that's about like health and wellness, or whether it's like a mental health thing or homeschool thing or whatever it is, a nature thing. So many different things that people have been able to get from my content, and that makes me really happy because I feel like even if, I'm not like out there with a ton of people following me and I'm not making massive loads of money, like that's fine because I'm still putting my best foot forward. I'm still doing my best. I'm also technology challenged. I have issues with technology, so as you can see, my videos are not super high tech. I don't do a whole lot of really like a whole lot of editing in my videos. So, obviously you can see that, but I feel like I still upload pretty good content considering. I just do my best and that's all I can do. But I really am enjoying the content. I am mostly on YouTube and TikTok. I spend quite a bit of time on TikTok. I would say TikTok is definitely the one I spend the most time on. Secondly would be YouTube, of course. YouTube is always going to be like my baby. Like, I'm always going to feel like, because YouTube was the first thing that I started when I started my content creator journey. And so that's where it all really began, was with that. And then of course just utilizing Facebook and Instagram. I said it before, I'll say it again, I really don't like Instagram at all. If I was not a creator, I would not have one. So I would say go follow me on Instagram, and you totally can if you want, but I don't like it. I don't get on it. I'm also not a big fan of X, aka Twitter. I used to be on it a little bit more. I still get on once a week, but I get on about once a week for Instagram and once a week for Twitter, and that's it. Like, I don't utilize the messengers for the most part unless I get like a really important message, but I also turn the notifications off for a lot of these apps as well. YouTube or Facebook, I get on about twice a week. So Facebook is okay. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook because it's very time consuming in my opinion, and it's very multifaceted. There's so many different things to check on there and look at and see, and like, I don't know. It just gets I find Facebook to be very overwhelming, so I don't get on there every single day. And messaging can be difficult, like when it comes to my messengers, like it may be 2 or 3 days before I get to some of my messages, and that's okay. There are some people that get irritated with that and get mad, and I just tell them, like, I am a mother first and foremost. Like, I have a family to take care of, I have businesses to run, I have a lot of things on my plate, and so if I don't get to my messages, like, it is what it is. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, I'm on pretty much everything. I have a Patreon, which my Patreon does pretty good. Like, I really enjoy doing that as well. Patreon is definitely one of my favorite platforms. I've grown slightly bored with it in recent times, but in the same point, it is still very classic to me, and so I do still like it. I have Discord, I have Twitch, even though I really don't use them. I do have all the usual, I guess, usual stuff that people use, like Snapchat. Oh, I really don't like Snapchat at all. I would say Snapchat is probably like, I think I might dislike that more than Instagram. And I think the reason is just simply because there's so many people on there that, like, they're just trying to like get hookups and stuff, send you inappropriate things, and it's just like, I feel like it's unavoidable. It's so difficult to just deal with that and to, you know, like get it to where you're not getting all this stuff, because even when I'm like rejecting, requests and all of that, like, somehow just, I don't know, it's just a mess. But I'm not a fan at all of Snapchat, so yeah, you can add me on there if you want, but I might not see your message for a few days. So Snapchat and But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into like every single one, but uh, Tumblr, I'm okay with Tumblr. I get on there about twice a week. Same with Reddit. I get on Reddit twice a week. Those are kind of like okay apps to me. I'm not a huge fan of either one, but they're all right. They're just kind of like I like them better than I like Instagram and Snapchat. I'll say that. But I do not scroll for entertainment. I know that sounds really weird, and I feel like most people would think that's absolutely absurd, but I don't. I do not do any scrolling, and I feel like that's one reason why I'm able to get so much done in my life. It's kind of like the same concept of the fact that I don't watch TV. And I know that sounds really weird too. People always think that's so strange. I don't watch TV, I don't scroll, and I think it's extremely important because if we actually thought about the time that that takes up in our day, for most people, it's hours. I mean, hours and hours. And I'm not talking one or two, I'm talking most people are doing this, between the TV and the scrolling and like, I think they said the average person is about 5 to 6 hours a day, and that's insane. That is insane. I mean, unless you're sick or something, or I don't know. I'm not going to get into it because I have my opinions on that. But with that being said, so that's kind of where I'm at with work. Mostly focusing on the content creating, doing online surveys and gigs, OnlyFans, and just stuff like that. On TikTok, I do also have my TikTok storefront, and so I do make commissions off of there, which is great, which I've been really excited about that lately. I did have an Amazon storefront, but I did ultimately shut that down just because it was not profitable. Like, it was just one of those things where you work at it and you post and you just I would continually go in and make a list, like what do you call it, like idea list and things like that, like all kinds of content on there, and just like hardly make any sales. And so finally, I think I had it going for like 2.5 years maybe, and I was like, I've had enough. Like, there gets to a point where if you see that something is just not working, it's not doing anything for you, then sometimes you just have to let it go. And I'm totally good with that. I'm totally happy with that. So I did let that go. I'm considering maybe starting like a Walmart storefront, just because I know like so many of us also shop at Walmart. I know I do. So I'm kind of considering that in the near future, possibly. But other than that, the TikTok storefront is the only storefront I have right now. And then my pharmacy business and doing a couple of massages here and there. So that's how things are going with work. But primarily, I do just take care of my family to the best of my ability. But I do also really try to have my own stuff going and my own, like, motivations and whatnot. So, and I feel, excuse me, the air quality is bad today again. Anyways, I just feel like, when it comes to people working, not working, whatever, like, I'm not judgmental, like, I don't have specific opinions on that. I just think that, and especially when it comes to women, this day and age, I feel like we should just have, the choice, if at all possible, just make the best choice for our family. Excuse me, guys. For our family and our own individual situations, which obviously that's going to look different for every single person, every couple, and every family in general, but you just kind of have to do what you feel is best. And so for me, this is what works, and this is the way that y'all, I'm dying. This is the way I'm going to keep it for the foreseeable future. So anyways, I'm going to keep working at it and just keep going, and everything's going to be great like it always is. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.